So let's talk about osmoregulation in animals and specifically humans. This is what the syllabus objective says. We need to explain osmoregulation in humans, including the role of antidiuretic hormone and the kidney, using feedback control diagrams. So, first of all, what is osmoregulation? Osmo gives you a bit of a clue. Thinking about osmosis, we're talking about a balance between water and solute. So it's the maintenance of a constant solute and water balance in the bodies of organisms. And why is that important? Well, this is what happens if you drink too much water. This is a normal CT of the brain, and you can see these ventricles here. The black part means that they're full of liquid, and the white part here is the brain tissue. If you have a look at the one here on the right, you can see that the ventricles have been closed. Increased pressure in the brain because the skull is fixed, it can't expand. When the brain expands, it actually closes the ventricles. So we've got increased pressure in the brain. And that's occurred from hyponatremia. Hypo meaning low. Natremia, salt in the blood. So low salt in the blood. In other words, high water, low salt. And this occurs from drinking too much water or having too much water in the blood. Water then travels into the cells, causing the cells to swell. So osmoregulation maintains a constant solute concentration in the cells. This is very important. So how do we get water into our body? Well, it's through our food and our liquids that we drink. How do we get water out? So we can breathe it out in water vapor. We can sweat it out. It can go out in feces, but the only way in which we can actually control water output is through urine output. And the way we do that is through a hormone called antidiuretic hormone, ADH. Diuresis is the production of urine. So antidiuretic hormone reduces diuresis. So how does it work? Well, antidiuretic hormone works here in the distal tubule and the collecting duct of the nephron. So it's gone through the loop of Henle and we've got fairly concentrated urine here. This is the last chance we can take more water out of the nephron before it then goes into the bladder. So antidiuretic hormone makes the distal tubule and the collecting duct more leaky. So more water is able to escape the tubule and go back into the blood. So here's the summary then. When there's low water in the blood, it's detected by the hypothalamus, that's the control center, and the pituitary gland releases antidiuretic hormone. This increases the permeability of the distal tubule and collecting duct, so more water is reabsorbed and the urine output decreases. And that's the opposite when there's high water levels in the blood. It's detected by the hypothalamus. The pituitary gland this time decreases antidiuretic hormone, so it decreases the permeability of the distal tubule and collecting ducts, so less water is reabsorbed, and so therefore we have large amounts or copious amounts of dilute urine. We can summarize that in a feedback loop. Control center is the hypothalamus, and it detects high water in the blood. So we've drank lots of water. There's lots of water in the blood. So the pituitary gland decreases the amount of antidiuretic hormone released. And the outcome of that is increased urine output and decreased water in the blood. One easy way to remember this is high water, decreased ADH. Okay, high, low. Now let's think about the other way around. When we're dehydrated and there's low water in the blood, we have increased antidiuretic hormone, which decreases the urine output, and more of the water gets reabsorbed into the blood. Of course, we still need to drink water to re-establish the water in the blood, but this is a way of reducing the amount of water lost. So the best way to remember it is high water, low ADH, low water, high ADH. And that is our feedback loop.